Y'all wanted it, so here it finally is. This is going to be a long one since I actually wrote a script this time, so let's get started. Forge of Empires is an MMO strategy city builder game for web browser, Android, and iOS. I've been playing this amazing game since its beta release in 2012 when a 14-year-old me clicked on a side panel advertisement claiming to be a game with sexy women. Boy, was it wrong, but what I found was definitely much better. The point of this game is to advance through the ages, starting in Stone Age and going all the way to what is, at the time of this video being made, Space Age Asteroid Belt. This video will be a detailed guide for beginners and even intermediate players to design and streamline their city for a smoother and more expedient advancement through the ages. This video is, again, meant for beginners and newcomers to the game, but there might even be some information that more experienced players might be able to take away from this. If you're a beginner and anything like me, and speed through the tutorial, monkey braining the entire thing just clicking where the big glowy arrow tells you to, then no worries, here's the video for all you impatient people of culture. There are 4 main currencies in the game, along with 5 unique currencies for each age called goods. Supplies and coins are gained from various buildings, but the main source of these currencies will largely be the same no matter what age you're in. Coins will be gained from houses, which also give population, and collect in certain set intervals depending on the type of house. Supplies will be gained from production buildings, which are manually reset buildings that consume population and are time-based on a user-selected output. Metals are gained mainly from victory towers, but also through special and event buildings, great buildings, and world map weekly tournament towers, and various quests. Diamonds are a premium currency, but can be gained from events, quests, guild expedition, and wishing wells. Goods are gained from their respective buildings, and the buildings for each being unlocked through the tech tree. The first thing to know when designing your city is a building's efficiency. The efficiency of a building is the amount of output per hour per tile of space it uses up. So a stilt house is a 4-tile large building and makes 11 coins every 15 minutes. Doing some math, this produces 44 coins per hour, or 11 coins per tile per hour, whereas the chalet is also 4 tiles large and makes 80 coins every 4 hours, which equals 20 coins per hour or 5 coins per tile per hour. The stilt house is, in theory, twice as efficient as the chalet. However, also keep in mind that not every player has time to sit there and collect every 15 minutes. So for every minute the stilt house doesn't get collected after it's ready to collect, it loses efficiency to the chalet. In the end, it comes down to what type of player you are and how active you plan on being in the game. Another thing to keep in mind is a mechanic in this game called aiding. You can aid your neighbors and guildmates once every 24 hours. An aided building has a star above it and doubles its output. For culture buildings and decorations, it doubles the amount of happiness for 12 hours. For supply buildings and houses, it doubles the amount of resources it gives when collected next, as well as making it immune to being plundered in the event that a neighbor attacks you. I highly recommend joining an active guild so you can aid every day for more coins and blueprints, as well as keep your own buildings aided at all times. Happiness is also very important when designing your city. If your population is unhappy, meaning your happiness output is less than the population of your city, then your coin and supply output is halved. This will severely slow your rate of progress. On the flip side, if you have 1.5 times more happiness than your total population, then your people are enthusiastic. This increases your output by 20%, and I recommend keeping your city enthusiastic to speed up your progression through the ages. The building menu is located here, and you'll find all your non-event, non-special buildings here. Going down the list, you'll find all your coin and population buildings here. Here's all your supply production buildings. Here's all your goods buildings for the goods used in Guild vs. Guild, great building production, unlocking technologies, as well as many more things. Here are all your culture buildings, or buildings that produce happiness but require a road connection and are generally larger than your decorations. Here's your decorations, which don't need roads, are smaller, but are typically less efficient than your culture buildings because of it. Here's your military buildings. I'll go more in depth in combat for this game in another remake of my previous combat basics video later. Here's your roads. I recommend keeping these updated as you unlock more, as they're basically a source of happiness that doesn't require extra space. Plus they look cool as hell when keeping up with particular theme of your city. Here you'll find expansions for your city. Expansions are 4x4 space upgrades to your city to allow you to build more things in your city. They can be bought with coins after unlocking them with various technologies as you advance through the game, with metals or with diamonds. I'd actually suggest saving your diamonds for these as much as you can. Also, a major mistake I see a lot of new players make is buying the expansions in the corners and such. Always expand in a uniformly square or a rectangular manner. It makes laying out your city much easier and requires less work to rearrange your buildings. And finally, you have your great buildings. Great buildings are a set of 2 buildings in every age that can be built after you find the 9 unique blueprints for a particular building and costs a certain amount of goods. They can also all be upgraded using forge points, up to and past level 10, 10 being the default cap, and the cap going up by 1 level for every new full set of blueprints you unlock. Blueprints can be gained by aiding your guildmates and neighbors, plundering your neighbors, from certain special buildings, from quests, and from guild expedition. The chance for gaining a blueprint is small. The age of a building you get a blueprint for is based on the age of the building you aid or plunder from your neighbors or guildmates. For quests and guild expeditions, the age of the blueprint will be your current age and every age before it at random. The goods needed to build them is based upon the age the building is based in. So the Bronze Age Tower of Babel uses Bronze Age goods, the Iron Age Colosseum uses Iron Age goods, etc., etc. Certain great buildings are better to build than others, and are highly dependent on the type of player you are. Space is a very limiting factor, so unless you dish out a lot of diamonds on this game, plan accordingly. If you're a fighter, build the Alcatraz and build buffing buildings like Statue of Zeus, Cathedral of Aachen, etc. If you're a trader, then build the goods producing buildings like Tower of Babel, Lighthouse of Alexandria, etc. You can always sell your great buildings, but keep in mind you won't get refunded for anything and they'll have to be upgraded from scratch again should you choose to build them again in the future. I'll be starting on a new world from scratch so that new players will be able to relate to and understand what's going on a little better, though I will be including advice that can be incorporated no matter what age you're in. Starting off, you'll need to move your town hall to the top corner and delete all the roads. The roads are free to replace anyway, and it's quicker just to delete and rebuild them than it is to move each one individually. The reason you want to move your town hall to the top corner is so that your roads have as few connection points to the town hall as possible. This allows for more space for buildings and less space for your roads to actually need to be connected to the town hall. As a side note, when moving an object and placing it onto a space already occupied by another object, you'll automatically pick up whatever object was occupying that space, allowing for a more fluid method of rearranging your city, rather than having to move aside and replace every object. Next, you'll want to make a road going straight down, 3 tiles from the top right edge, leaving a tile empty at the end. Then you'll want to make a road branching off from this road, 2 tiles up from the bottom right edge, and again leaving the end empty. Move objects out of the way as you need to. Make another parallel road leaving a 4 tile gap going all the way up, and you should have a road structure that looks like this. The 3 tile gap on the top and side will be used for your supply buildings and military buildings for now. Your houses will go in the center and you can begin arranging your buildings accordingly. The 2 road houses allow for a more efficient usage of your roads, allowing for your roads to touch a building from 2 sides using only a single piece of road. Now you can fill in the spaces that your other buildings don't or can't, such as the ends of the roads and next to the town hall. This is the primary function of your decorations, utilizing unused space for happiness rather than letting empty space go to waste and cutting down on the load your culture buildings will need to bear. The supply buildings you use are up to you. Technically, the hunter is more efficient and cheaper, but Stone Age buildings don't provide blueprints when aided by a neighbor, so people tend to get a bit upset if you have them. Up to you whether you care about that or not. As you go up in age, your buildings will become less and less uniform in size, and so a neat trick is to only pay attention to a single dimension of a building. When designing using columns going up and down, you only need to pay attention to the building's width to align with other buildings at the same width. Same goes for rows left and right. You only need to pay attention to a building's height. This is a good way to arrange your grade buildings as well once you start requiring those. This allows you to keep straight uniform roads with as few bends or none at all as possible. The more bends you have in a road, the more space the roads take up and the harder it is to fit in more buildings. Anyway, I hope this helped you all. Sorry for my hiatus as well as the astronomically long time it took to remake this video. If I missed any information, let me know down in the comments section. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It really does help keep me motivated to keep working on the channel. Y'all stay awesome and have an awesome day.